Okay, screen share is still working. Cool, thank you. So great. So what I was saying before was that um, early in the October and the mid October when we started, getting this drop, we concluded that this is a three-wave drop, and what we were looking was for a five waves move up. We were SPXL long here, and we had some calls. And on that day, I think that Iran Israel news leaked up. I think it was a Friday, and what all we ended up getting was a five waves up, right? And we had closed the positions mostly here. Um, but we did not short. We were expecting some sort of wave four dip and a wave five move up, and I was considering that we will take a short there, right? So that was our initial plan. But then after hours we started seeing some selling, or in the last hour we started seeing some selling, and it kind of dipped too much for to be a wave four, right? So we said that okay, or we discussed that we had three waves down, we had now three waves up. This does not kind of complete any pattern here yet, so we need one more leg down, right? And the plan on the weekly side after that Friday drop was that as long as 5850 is not breached, which is this particular area right here, we are gonna get another leg down. Now for like 3 days it kept just bouncing into the same thing, irritating us, and kind of hitting stop losses on the different puts or anything that we took. And finally we have this drop after the earnings yesterday. Now generally speaking, a three waves down, three waves up, the next leg, which is now looking impulsive, it's a five waves down, basically, right? So a flat correction, and when we are looking at a flat correction, now if I start marking this as a flat, the C leg in the flat is five waves, right? So three down, three up, and five waves down. So what we're looking at is one, two, probably here right now we are in around 200% extension here into the support that we talked about at 5726. We dropped a little bit below. It's probably a little bit of a liquidity grab here, marking the third wave, and we should start rising up. Maybe can go up to 5764 again, the previous level, which was being the support, and then we can have the fifth wave down, right? So some sort of this structure is what I'm looking at for the completion of this fourth wave. If we get this, then it makes a lot of sense to kind of go long, at that point of time, right? So if you just kind of measure the drop overall from here to the low of the day till now, 23 to 38% is optimal. Let's see where it kind of comes. If you see 38% come right into that 5770 level. So I would assume that we're going to test 5765 either later today or probably tomorrow, maybe later today. And with Apple earnings and Amazon earnings, it might give us another drop, into our final level of either 5700 or a little bit below that, which means with that, tomorrow could be ending into the lows, and then we are getting right into the elections, right? So if you want to take longs into the elections, I would want this to complete something like this, and then we can go long. So that kind of comes up like, okay, we have done this five waves. After this three wave drop, probably some divergence will show up on the longer time frame in 1 hour chart or so, and that would kind of be a signal to go along, right? So that's what I kind of wanted to share. And overall, no change in the plan as long as this area holds. Right, we are looking at one big major rally into 5950, maybe a little bit above, maybe 6000, something like that. That's something that we should be expecting as long as these levels are holding. If for any reason we start trading below 5650, that's not a good sign for the bulls. That would mean that some way either this was a leading diagonal or something like that. We'll have to look into it, and this still continues, which means we are making a big wave one drop, wave one or wave whatever we want to call it as. And then five waves will complete, then there will be a bounce, and then there will be another sell, right? So these levels are critical. See how we approach this liquidity level. This is a big liquidity level. If we come with divergence with these five waves down, like I explained before, it's a sign that, okay, this is a C completion and we have a bounce coming. Does it make sense? Cool. Okay. So that's on the SPX side. Let's just review QQQ quickly. For QQQ, I talked about 485, which is almost there, and then we talked about 480, right? So we are considering this as some sort of an ending diagonal or a B wave. So an overlap here is just absolutely fine. There is no problem with that. Uh, will it be bouncing to a new high, grabbing this particular point or a liquidity residing above? That's highly possible if we get that election rally. So what I'm looking at here is that a bounce will come somewhere into 490s or something like that from 485, and then a drop again. Since QQQ was making a new high yesterday or day before, right? So this is not the same pattern of 335 in as in SPX. We could be looking at as probably making a zigzag. So we can have a little bit of sharper bounce here in QQQ, where instead of 490, it may do 493 or 494 as well, just making a zigzag here. So if it has five waves down coming here, right, a bounce into a B wave, and B wave can be anywhere from 50%, 60%, even sometimes 38% as well. But 50 to 61% is optimal, and I think this is a very good resistance level. These two, what we just discussed, 490, 491, 494, right, and then a drop after that. So that will complete kind of zigzag here, and we approach 480 along with the 5700 a little lower on SPX. I think they would be good places for a long into next week. So give it a little time. I mean, we don't have to rush into longs as of now. Right. Let's see what it does over the Apple earnings and the Amazon earnings, and then we can swing some longs based on what we just discussed. Right. So that's the plan. Hope that clarifies any questions that you have. If not, you can of course message me on that. All right, good stuff. Let me know if there are any questions. Let me just check the chat in the meanwhile. Okay. Oh, okay. IWM and SMH. Yeah, IWM and SMH we can cover. So IWM, I was looking at another leg down here, a little differently you know, from SPX. So my only position here was that if these were five waves down, we had a B wave up. We should be looking at an equal C leg down, probably coming here somewhere into the 215 range, which we have been talking about at least. That's an expectation from IWM, but right now it's just bouncing from the support which I shared on the channel, right? It breaks that, we have to take out 217 and then reach out 215. This was the reason I covered up a little bit of puts here so that we have profits in the pocket. We can swing some overnight, keep a BESL, and see what we get tomorrow, right? If it pushes to 2%, another 1 to 2% tomorrow, we can probably get into this 215 range, and this will be another zigzag into this IWM drop, right? And we'll see where we go after that. SMH, SMH is already reaching into the level which I have been saying for a very long time. That 257 kept resisting time and again. There were like three bounces into it. Now we are reaching into two liquidity levels here, about 240 and 237 being the big one, right? So our target has been 237 for a very long time. If it keeps dropping, which we cannot say for now, right? What it's really doing, is it forming just a zigzag correction into this, like this, or is it going to be becoming a 1 2 3 4 5, something like this, or a big bearish, right? So keep a watch on 237. That's an important level. If it bounces from there, everything is just very corrective for now, and then this can start another rally up, and we'll have to see how it kind of works out in the larger scheme of things, of correction and all that kind of stuff. Is it also making some kind of a leading diagonal? That is something which is still possible. Like we have talked about SPX and all that, that you have these 5 waves, and then you get another drop again, right? So when we talked about SPX going to 5400ish or something like that, this could be another way that it never crosses above 263 or stays above 263, and it just drops back again. So a lot of things to happen right now, but consider 237 as an important point. Uh, to consider, right? So let's see what happens at 237 on BTC. Yeah, so BTC, I've mentioned a couple of times that 70K is the spot that we should be looking at. Must hold for a breakout, right? I have always had challenges with this first pop up, which I have said it's a 3 wave move up, and my biggest challenge here is that since I do not want to kind of enforce an impulsive count in a way where I say, oh, okay, this was some kind of an expanding diagonal. It's possible. I'm not denying it's not, because there was an high, low, and high, right? So 5 waves were there, but this is a very odd structure. Something to keep in back pocket, since it's already at the double top here. But if it starts cracking below 70K, then or the 69,800, then I have a little bit of a problem anyway, because even if I say that this was my wave one, I'm in a wave three should not start pulling back into these lower levels. It needs to just keep making higher highs and higher lows, right? So that's where the challenge is. If this was 1 2, then we are doing this 1 2 1 2. We are actually in a wave three, right? So I would expect that this drop will be limited to this previous candle. Just grab this internal liquidity here, and just keep pushing, something like this. 1 2, another 1 2 3 4 5, something like that. So it needs to kind of pull back from here, and move up there, right? So that's all what I'm looking at from BTC perspective. It starts cracking lower, then we have a challenge on BTC, that it's probably doing some sort of an A, B, C, and there could be a big dip after elections. Let's say Trump doesn't win, or whatever happens. It can simply have a big sell-off right just from there, right? So this level is the key to hold, and hopefully we get a breakout on from there. Anything else that we want to cover? Okay, cool. Let's get back to work. Thank you very much, everybody.